It begins with a void, a silence where conversation used to be. You stare at the screen, a tiny digital tombstone that reads "Seen." The blue light paints your face in the colors of cold anxiety. Every second that passes is a small eternity. Each tick of the clock is a hammer blow to your composure. The urge to type, you feel like a marionette whose strings have just been cut. You crumple, a heap of disjointed limbs and frantic thoughts, all animated by a single, desperate need for her response. This is the moment 99% of men fail. They mistake this crushing silence for a problem to be solved, a gap to be filled with more words, more attention, more of themselves. They believe that the louder they shout into the abyss, the more likely they are to get an echo. But the abyss doesn't respond to noise. It responds to absence. When she pulls away, your silence becomes a weapon. It's not a game. It's a psychological reset. A primal trigger you are about to... Her withdrawal is a test. She has created a pattern. She retreats, and you advance. She is the choreographer of this miserable dance, and you have been her willing partner. Your frantic texts, your calls, your desperate attempts to talk things out, they are the predictable steps she expects. You are confirming her power over your emotional state. But silence. Silence is a pattern interrupt. It is the one step she did not choreograph. You stop dancing. You simply stand still, and the entire performance grinds to a halt. Her brain, conditioned for your pursuit, suddenly encounters a void. This isn't just silence. It's an unanswered question. And the human mind despises unanswered questions. This is the Zeigarnik effect. Our minds have a relentless obsession with incomplete tasks, with unfinished stories. By going silent, you have just turned your relationship into the ultimate cliffhanger. She expected you to write the final pathetic chapter, a chapter of begging and closure. Instead, you closed the book and walked away. Now she is the one left needing to know the ending. Then comes the second trigger, psychological reactance. It's the primal human instinct to resist being controlled. When you are always available, she has the freedom to take you or leave you. Your silence takes that freedom away. The option to get a response from you, once a certainty, is now gone. Her ability to control your emotional state has been revoked, and the human mind screams, "I want back what was taken from me." Her focus shifts from casually dismissing you to obsessively trying to reclaim the connection she willingly severed. Let's call them Victor and Ilara. Victor was the classic pursuer. Every time Ilara grew distant, he would flood her with affection, with grand gestures, with logic. He thought he was showing her how much he cared. In reality, he was screaming his own lack of self-worth. He was teaching her that her withdrawal would always be rewarded with his intensified effort. One day, after a week of cold, one-word replies, she went completely silent. The abyss opened. Victor felt the old panic, the familiar urge to fix it. But this time, he did something different. He did nothing. He put the phone down. He turned it face down on the table. He walked away from the siren call of his own anxiety. The first 24 hours were agony. He was a ghost in his own home, fighting the phantom limb of his need to connect with her. Meanwhile, Ilara felt relief. The pressure was off. The annoying little notification light was finally dark. She had won, or so she thought. Day 3. The relief had curdled into curiosity. A small, nagging thought appeared in her mind. That's not like him. She picked up her phone, opened their chat. Nothing. The void remained. Day 5. Curiosity had mutated into a low-grade anxiety. Why wasn't he chasing? Had she pushed to check his social media? He was living. A picture of a book he was reading. A silhouette of him against a city skyline. There was no desperate, hidden message for her. There was only his life, continuing without her. This was the critical blow. His silence wasn't a punishment for her. It was a statement of his indifference to her absence. The power dynamic didn't just shift, it shattered. Day 7. The anxiety had bloomed into full-blown obsession. The unanswered question of his silence was now a roar in her head. She reread their old conversations, searching for clues, for a mistake. She was no longer the one in control. He wasn't even playing her game anymore. He had taken the board and walked away. The only move left was hers. Then, the notification. A single word from her. Hey. It wasn't a question. It was a plea. A desperate attempt to reopen the story he had closed. And now we arrive at the truth. The part that is so often misunderstood. The goal of this silence was never to make her obsessed. That is merely a side effect. The silence is not for her. It is for you. It is the deafening roar of you choosing yourself. It is the sound of you rebuilding your own kingdom while she is outside the gates. When you chase her, you are telling the universe that she is your source of validation. Your happiness is a fragile thing held in her hands. When you go silent, you take your heart back. You declare that you are the source. You are the prize. Your attention is a gift, not a desperate payment for her affection. Her obsession, if it comes, is a symptom of her realization. The realization that she lost something of value. Not because you took it away, but because she let it go, and you were strong enough not to beg for its return. So when she pulls away, and the silence begins, do not see it as a void. See it as a canvas. Your silence is a mirror. It forces her to confront not your absence, but her own feelings. It reveals whether she missed you or just the validation you provided. This is the primal trigger. The ultimate power is not in making her obsessed. The ultimate power is in becoming completely indifferent to whether she is or not.